Well, hello there. Project Cars 2. If you've been watching my channel, you realise that I've been a long time away from racing games, and I'm talking at least 25 years. But I bought a new steering wheel, I bought a G29 Logitech, and I quite like it, and I've been playing a few games, and this is kind of my first foray into Project Cars 2, which is a great game. I think it's a lot of fun. So I've gone to a track that I know, Brands Hatch, full circuit, and to be fair to my nephew Cheeses, I've played a few hours on this. I've done a few tweaks to the car, gearing and a little bit of suspension and a little bit of tyre pressure stuff, just to get myself a little bit more consistent, I suppose. And I did a 1:16.7 earlier today, so that's pretty fast, but I've played it against it on 120%, and I'm not in that league yet. But Cheese has decided to join me for a game very bravely, without any practice, so bear that in mind. I'm sure he's faster than me normally, and on this it was just a bit of fun, just to see what we could do. So obviously I set up a room, I set up a track, and a few randoms joined in, and some of them were bloody quick, to be honest, and it made for a lot of fun. So I managed to qualify on pole for a race. I mean, this is just us practicing and mucking about, and a little bit of banter, which is what racing games are all about as far as I'm concerned. And eventually we settled in for a race, and I managed to get pole. I didn't actually do that fast a time. I kind of sat in the pits hoping that people would be lulled into a false sense of security and think that I was slower than I was. As it happens, that doesn't really help, because the guy who was chasing me down at the end of this race, he was seriously quick. So he obviously made some mistakes earlier on. So anyway, we go into this race, and this is me now qualifying. A bit of banter from Jake, of course, Jake being Cheeses, and we sort of see where it's going to take us. So here you can see, while I was typing to Jake, I decided to carry a little bit of roadside furniture back to the pits with me, just for the sheer fun of it. But yeah, this is a great game. I like the way it handles. I love the way the force feedback feels. It gives you a lot of resistance in the steering wheel. I probably prefer the force feedback to Assetto Corsa, which I think is a great game. But anyway, so here we go, qualifying in first, and so we hit the race, and Cheeses is in fourth. So I'm just trying to make sure that I get the first lap clean, and maybe I can come away with a win. Anyway, look at that beautiful car. As I said, slightly tweaked, but it all goes kind of horribly wrong on the first lap. I'm trying to be clean, I'm trying to overtake people cleanly, I'm trying not to knock people off the track, but unfortunately not everybody feels the same way, and I get completely mullered here. And so I spend the next couple of laps basically just trying to get back into it again. Luckily I got back on the track. Cheeses is still behind me because someone reversed into him at the start apparently, so I kind of wait for him and have a bit of a typing chat once I've done a few corners, and then we go from there and see how we get to the end of the race. I hope you enjoy it. Oh dear, I mean that wasn't particularly smooth, was it? But I really am trying my hardest just to try and get into contention with Cheeses and the other cars around him, and maybe losing my cool a little bit, but hopefully I can get myself under control and start to make some progress. Awfully sorry, Jake, I really didn't mean to hit you there. You just kind of were a bit slower than I expected, but here we go. I've got to try my best to stick a pass on you and hopefully do it cleanly. And as it happens, you kind of did it for me. Thank you very much. So now we've obviously got no hope of winning this race. These guys are way ahead of us after our terrible first couple of laps, but let's see what we can do. I'm reasonably quick around here. I can be quite consistent. Obviously I've had a couple of glasses of cider. That seems to help, so let's see what happens. Yeah, this left-hand bend here is really tricky, but if you can get a late apex and get your throttle down really full, it's actually really rewarding. And again here, this is quite a tough one. I think I'm probably taking it a bit gentler than I should, but it's not bad. And again, these are really tricky corners. It's just all about getting the timing right. But I'm catching this guy, and it's looking like maybe I can attack for a win. Let's see what happens. Well, not the most subtle overtake, but it was an overtake nonetheless. Now, this guy in front of me, he's seriously quick. And I try and do my usual stuff and think I'm going to catch him, and he's basically eking away a little bit of a lead all the time. And I really wasn't expecting that, because obviously in the qualifying times he probably wasn't around, but he's a seriously fast driver. Much respect to the guy, and I'm basically losing ground here, but I'm going to keep trying and see if I can gradually edge up and just stay consistent and hope that he makes a mistake. there you have it. He went straight off the track there, and I managed to get quite an advantage. In fact, over the next few laps, I built this advantage up to about 18 seconds, and then the guy finds his rhythm, and my God is he fast. So I've just got to try and hang on now till the last lap and see if I can actually take the win. Jesus is in third, and I have to confess, all the time through these last few laps I'm seeing someone catching me, and I just presumed it was Jesus. I just presumed that he was getting better and better and better and catching me, but it turns out that Jesus had to settle for third, and this guy is going to try and take the win from me. I hope I can hang on. And as is often the way, under pressure, I start to make lots and lots of little mistakes, and they gradually start to add up. This guy is getting closer and closer and closer, and I'm getting more and more desperate and just trying to stay on the track and trying to stay away from him. And that particular error could be very costly indeed. He's now only 2 or 3 seconds behind me. We've got a lap to go, but he's obviously way faster than me, and I'm getting flustered. So here we go. Got to get a decent exit from Paddock Hill Bend. This is such a difficult corner, and I'm a little bit wide there, but not terrible. Druids, really hard on the brakes. I always go into first for here, and here we go. Not a bad exit. Graham Hill Bend here, very difficult, very off camber. That's not terrible. I've done it faster. Now this is the one that you've really got to get right, because you've got a lot of power all the way down the straight from here. If you can get an exit, that's okay, and that's not terrible. So we're holding at bay. I'm going to go flat out down here, get up into 6th gear maybe, little dip of the brake, stick it into Hawthorns, go really fast. I think this next one is called Sheen's Curve, either this one or the next one. They're very difficult. Actually, I think this is Sheen's. Well, if you can get this right, you can make a lot of time. And then we go left into Sterling's Bend. Just got to get a clean exit from here, and I'm home and dry if I can just do this. So back towards the last corner and the start-finish straight, which is anything but straight, and that's not terrible. He's getting closer and closer and closer. He's within a second now, but I think I'm just going to hang on. And that was so much fun. Look how close he is. That was terrifying for me the last few laps. Didn't matter what I did, he just kept catching. Cheeses did very well to get third place. As I said, he hasn't been playing this for a few hours today. I have. I've tweaked the car. I'm sure in our next race, which hopefully will be on Formula 1 2020, because that comes out tomorrow, I'm sure he'll beat me. Right, I hope you enjoyed that.